Hey friends, so it's been a while since I made just like a sit down video, like way too long. I just got home a couple of weeks ago from Orlando, Florida, where I was working for Disney World during the Disney College program all the way from August 8th was when I arrived to January the 5th. If you've watched any of my previous vlogs, you probably saw a little bit of what I was doing there. But I realized I never really like sat down and explained what the program was or like what I was doing there other than just playing in the parks, because that's all I ever filmed. I thought I would just do the DCP Alumni Tag, and I'm wearing my alumni shirt. It keeps falling down where you can't see the logo because it's freaking huge, but it's cool. It makes for a comfy sleep shirt, so it's whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Oops. We're not gonna Disney point in this video. Let's just be honest, we're past that. What year did you do the DCP? I did the fall 2016 program. Did you do the program in Florida or California? My program was at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. What was your role and location? I was merchandise at Animal Kingdom, Discovery Island. So I worked at two different stores. I worked at Discovery Trading Company and Island Mercantile. But like a month and a half or so into my program, they decided to do this thing called interchangeability. I'm not gonna go into detail. Basically, they cross-trained some of the part-time and full-time and college program cast members. They cross-trained us into quick service food and beverage. So along with my merchandise role, I was also kind of quick service food and beverage. They didn't completely train us, so like we didn't run a register or anything like that. We basically just did, we helped out wherever they needed us. We did, you know, busting tables, trash, filling trays, all that stuff. So I also worked at Flame Tree Barbecue and Pizzavari. What do you miss about the DCP? I miss a lot of things, mostly my roommates and my coworkers. Y'all don't understand. I got so lucky because I know so many people who like hated their roommates. So I was in a 6-person apartment at Chatham Square, but I also really miss, obviously, being able to go to the parks whenever the heck I want to. I really miss just waking up and be like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go to Epcot today. And maybe not even go with anybody, I might just go by myself and like, you know, get some ice cream, walk around, ride a ride or two, and come back home. Specific to working at Animal Kingdom, I really miss walking into work and seeing the Tree of Life every day. So if you don't know, like Discovery Island is the first little section, well, not the first section, but the main first section of the park. When you walk in the area that you see the Tree of Life, that's Discovery Island, that's where I worked. And sometimes I would have shifts that started at 5 in the morning. You got to see the Tree of Life before there were any guests in the park, before the sun came up, and it was still just lit up from the night before, and it was just so nice. I also miss, and this is gonna sound really weird, like don't let it get weird. It's only weird if you make it weird. I miss seeing little girls dressed as princesses all the time. And around the end of my program, you know, Moana came out. So there were all these little girls dressed as Moana, and it was just, it was so cute. Another thing I miss specific to Animal Kingdom, seeing kids get really excited for the Wilderness Explorers. And if you don't know what that is, it's like Animal Kingdom's little scavenger hunt type thing that kids can do. They get a workbook and you go around the park and you learn things about the animals and about conservation and all kinds of great stuff. When you learn what you're supposed to learn, you get a little badge, and it's like a little sticker you can put in your book, and it's like the Wilderness Explorers from the movie Up. I would pass by that all the time, and like little kids would get their books and then their parents would take them in the store, and they would just be like so jacked up to go around the park and find all these badges, and it was just warmed my heart. How many times did you visit the parks? I know it seems like people visit the parks like non-stop constantly, and some people do. I don't know where those people get the energy or the willpower, because working for Disney is extremely hard work. It's very physically demanding, like no matter what role that you're in. Sometimes on your days off you don't want to do anything. You don't want to go to the parks. You're sick of seeing Mickey. You just want to lay in bed and not do anything. The most I ever went to the parks was maybe like twice in a week, maybe 3 times, just depending on like how much I worked and like what kind of schedule my roommates had, because like we didn't see each other a ton. What was your favorite ride? So it's not a ride. Don't judge me, all right? Just hear me out. My favorite experience, like favorite attraction at Disney, period, is Finding Nemo the musical. Oh my god. I cannot tell you how many times I watched Finding Nemo the musical. I would come in on my days off just to see Finding Nemo the musical. I would force my roommates and my coworkers and my friends to watch it with me. Like, it's so good. It's so good. It might sound cheesy, and I thought it was gonna be cheesy before I watched it for the first time. The actors are so insanely talented. Like, they have these puppets on a stick and like a little trigger that they pull to move the mouth, and even like to blink, the puppet that they have. And they sing and run around and dance. It has so much heart, and it's just so good, and I can talk about it forever, but I'm not gonna. My favorite ride experience is actually a funny story. And it might sound awful for me to say that this is my favorite ride experience, because it wasn't that fun for my friend that was with me, because she broke her finger. Picture this. My coworker Hannah and I, which you've seen in past vlogs, we decided to go to Magic Kingdom. And obviously, anytime you're at Magic Kingdom, you have to ride Space Mountain. Like, they won't let you into the park unless you tell them that you're gonna ride Space Mountain. This particular evening, we get on, and you know that they've got the little compartments in the front of your seat so you can put any belongings that you might have, like a purse or a hat or whatever, so they don't like fly off the ride and get lost in oblivion. I'm sitting in the front seat, Hannah is sitting behind me. She's wearing a hat, and she doesn't take it off. She decides to ride the ride with the hat on. So we're on the ride. It's like completely pitch black dark in the ride. The ride is inside. So I didn't even notice until we got off the ride that her hat had gone missing. And I was like, dude, what happened? She's like, man, like it just started to fly off, and I went to grab it to try to catch it while it was flying off, and I like jammed my finger into my head, and it hurts really bad. And I'm like, God, that sucks. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's probably just jammed or something, because obviously, like, if you take your finger and you just go ding, you're jamming it into your head. That's probably what happened. So we walk around for a little while longer, do some shopping, and she keeps talking about how bad it hurts. So we go to first aid, and they give her some bandage to wrap it up with, and you know, we go on with our night. But clearly it's still hurting her very bad. The next day, while I'm getting ready for work, she texts me and says her finger is broken. You know, at least it could have been something cool. No, she just... What is your favorite place to eat? So, I love food, and Disney has some good food. Like, So I have more than one favorite. 3 favorite quick service places, and then 1 favorite table service. Earl's Sandwich at Disney Springs, because hello, holiday turkey sandwich. Second favorite quick service place is Sleepy Hollow Refreshments at Magic Kingdom. They serve waffles with like stuff inside of them. So they have like a Nutella waffle with fruit, and then they have a savory one that has sweet and spicy chicken, like fried chicken, and also like cabbage slaw type deal. Like, honestly, one of the best things I've ever eaten in my whole life. Not gonna lie. Pardon. Stay hydrated, children. My third favorite quick service place at Disney is at Epcot, and it's the Katsuda Grill in the Japan Pavilion. The reason it's my favorite is the Japanese curry is so good. And my favorite full service restaurant is Beer Garden, which is in the Germany Pavilion. What's your favorite memory from the program? So you know how like when you're starting out your job at Disney and they tell you about all these magical moments you're gonna make and how they're gonna make you cry and like change your life and change the guest's life, and it's just like the reason why Disney does what they do. I guess you would classify this as a magical moment. I don't know, it was magical for me. I was working merchandise one day. I was like, you know, straightening some t-shirts or whatever you do. A man and a woman walk up to me. The woman's pushing a stroller, and the man says, "Excuse me, ma'am, I have a question for you." And immediately the wife knows what he's about to say, so she's like, oh my God, and like rolls her eyes and walks off. So I'm like, oh, what am I getting myself into? He starts telling the story. Every word out of his mouth is hilarious just because the way he's telling it. But he says, you know, my wife and our friends come to Disney a lot. The last time we were here, we were walking around in Harambe, which is the little village in the Africa part of Animal Kingdom. Like, we were walking around in Harambe, may he rest in peace. He says, this man is pushing a stroller and there's a squirrel on the ground. And he runs over the squirrel with the stroller and he almost looks proud about it. Like, he's stoked that he just killed the squirrel. He's like, and the squirrel's just done for. Like, he's laying on the ground, he's twitching, there's blood everywhere. Like, it's just not going well for the guy. He's like, so I guess what I'm asking is, like, what do you guys do when there's an injured animal like that? Like, if someone runs over a squirrel with a stroller, what do you do about it? So I'm like, well, I don't deal directly with the animals, but I would likely find the phone number of someone who does deal with the animals. I would call them and have them come inspect the situation, take the animal, and try to get some help for it. He was like, okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to ask. And I was like, all right, well, glad I could help. He's like, every time we go back to Harambe, we have to pour out just a little bit of our drinks for Mr. Squirrel, in memory of Mr. Squirrel. And I was like, I'm sure it was really tough for you to see that and to deal with that loss like that, you know? And I'm just like playing right along with him. And I said, I was thinking maybe it would help you guys deal with the grieving process if you had some buttons to celebrate the life of Mr. Squirrel. And he thought this was the greatest idea ever. He's like, but wait, he's like, you have to meet back up with me and then we have to present them to my party together. Like, I don't want my wife to know about it until we show her. And I was like, okay. The wife was just so done at this point, and his friends were dying laughing, and we were all cackling, and it just made my day. And I hope it made their day too. Like, it just sticks out more than anything on my program, because I had to go backstage for a second and just think, like, did that really just happen? Like, what was your favorite character interaction? One of my favorite character interactions I ever had was meeting Chewbacca at Hollywood Studios at the Star Wars launch bay. He just gives the most magnificent hugs. The last question of the tag is, would you work for Disney again? And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I would not work for Disney again. I'm one of the only CPs that I've known of that was married on their program. I say was married. I am married. Nothing happened, don't freak out. My husband was super supportive of the whole Disney College program idea, and he was able to visit me on my program and I got to visit him, so it really wasn't too bad. I think just the combination of that paired with the change in role halfway through my program, it was supposed to be a certain way and it turned out to be a completely different way, and that kind of, I don't want to say ruined my program, because my program was great and I enjoyed it immensely and I don't regret doing it at all. I had so much fun and I made so many great friends, but it really put a damper on things. Everybody else that was doing the interchangeability program had the same kind of feeling about it. They didn't like it. The only way I would work for them again basically is if I was part of Finding Nemo the musical, I think. So that was the alumni tag. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about my Disney College program experience just a little bit, and thank you for watching, and girl, bye.